Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today, the sutta we are going to take is Majjhima Nikaya 10, Satipatthana Sutta, the foundations of mindfulness. So, this is a very long sutta with a lot of information. So, whatever you are able to kind of take from it, you just absorb. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living in the Kuru country, where there was a town of Kurus named Kamasabdama. It is considered to be near Delhi area, something, Kamasabdama. There he addressed the students thus. Students, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Blessed One said this. Student, this is the direct path. So there is a kind of many different ways of translating it. Some say that it is the only path, but I think Bante also liked this translation. It is a direct path, means it is a path directly leading. That means that there are other paths also, but this is a direct path for the purification of beings, for the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the relinquishment, for the realization of Nibbana, namely the four foundations of mindfulness. So Bande used to say that when you are doing this practice, all of these four foundations is already active, and the operating kind of a principle is to know, and that is what the operating principle of the meditation is there, to know what is there. What are the four? Here, students. A student abides contemplating the body as body. So he is just observing body as it is a body. So when you are sitting, you are knowing that it is a body. So your awareness is there that this is a body. Ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So I want means covetousness, or grief is I don't want. So that is I want, I don't want mind, he is keeping aside. He abides contemplating feeling as feeling, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So the feeling as feeling. So feeling is painful, is feeling is there, pleasant feeling is there, neither painful nor pleasant feeling. He abides contemplating mind as mind, ardent, fully aware and full and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. He abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So mind objects, Bante says, is easier to understand mind objects as thoughts. Okay, because in our meditation, what are we kind of encountering most of the time is the thoughts which are there. Certain times feelings are there, certain emotions are there, but all are linked to some kind of thought. Mindfulness of breathing. And how, students, does a student abide contemplating the body as a body? Here a student gone to the forest or to the root of a tree or to an empty hut sits down, having folded his legs crosswise, set his body erect, and established mindfulness in front of him. Ever mindful he breathes in, mindful he breathes out. Breathing in long, he understands. I breathe in long. So the operating word Bhante says is the understand. Okay. So he understands that his breathing is going. So he is not paying at kind of concentrating anywhere. He is just knowing that the breathing is going and breathing is going in and out. He understands I breathe out long. Breathing in short, he understands I breathe in short. Or breathing out, he understands I breathe out short. He trains thus. So now this is saying that he trains thus. So now the thing is what he does. I shall breathe in experiencing the whole body. So he is aware of the body. Whole body is where? From the head to the tip of the toe, that the whole body. So when you are sitting in meditation, what are you aware of? The body. Okay. So we put an intention and be in the body, and then this we say that we are kind of over here, so we are aware of the whole body which is there. So that is also the same which we are doing. He trains us. I shall breathe out, experiencing the whole body. He trains that I shall breathe in, tranquilizing the body formation. So what is tranquilizing? That is what the Bhante says is relaxing. So what we do when the mind is distracted? We recognize, we release, relax and smile. So that is the relaxed thing is there. Bhante has added smile because smile is also very relaxing and it is a lighter thing. And then you come back to your object of attention. So he breathes. So I shall breathe out, tranquilizing the bodily formations. He breathes in, tranquilizing bodily formation. He breathes out, tranquilizing the bodily formation. Just as a skilled lathe operator or his apprentice, when making a long turn, understands I make a long turn, or when making a short turn, he understands I make a short turn. So too, breathing in long. A student understands I breathe in long. He trains thus, I shall breathe out, tranquilizing the bodily formations. Yes.
So, when we sit, we bring up a feeling of mettā and then, have an intention to, share it in direction. But we are not doing anything with body, right?
No, but we are aware that we are sitting. Only when.
But that we are this wide awareness, right? Not necessarily only the body.
Correct. This awareness, no awareness is a kind of a one-pointed awareness. So, but we are aware that there is body, and we are aware what is happening. So everything is about knowing and being aware. So it is not about concentration. That is what Bhante is making the point over here. That whatever instructions have been given, there is no kind of point of focus. So when he is talking about the breathing also, there is no point of focus in the breathing. He is aware the breathing is going in, he is aware the breathing is going out. And he means he is aware of the body, he is aware of the tranquilizing. So when mind needs has kind of tension tightness, what you do? Bring in tranquilizing. When has the tension tightness comes in? When you are distracted. Because the craving brings up the tension and tightness. So when you recognize, you release, relax, and come back.
Also, like you said, I think there's a big confusion that is this the only way or is this the direct path? Why is that? What is the?
Because certain people kind of ache, that is one, that is ache. So that ache which is there is it is a path or it is the path. So that is how the translation kind of you know something more about that?
No, not beyond what you're saying. I think so. It really depends on the perspective of the translator, how it's presented.
What does the Kubodi translate?
He translates as it is the direct path.
The direct path.
The direct path.
The direct path. He doesn't translate as the only path.
The direct path. And
there are many suttas where he gives different techniques. So saying that only path.
Goenkaji model basically they say this is the only path. Satipatthana the 7 day there.
Correct.
Like he claims to this case this is the only path.
So that is a kind of views also, no? And if you are getting very narrow in the view, then you get the mind is also kind of constrained. So that also happens.
Bhante, if I have to understand what you're saying, what we are doing has some parts which are covered in this. Is how I should think about it.
Correct.
Not that this is what we are going to do forward.
Correct. Correct. So our path, which we are Bhante kind of Bhante Vimaramsi has kind of formulated, has these aspects.
Okay.
And those aspects are also kind of something which we can see in our practice. Okay, that those are incorporated. So that is he's saying it is not separate just because it is not breath does not mean that it is not incorporating those aspects. Only is the breath is a point of reference, and because the habitual tendencies were coming, as Hugh was kind of explaining that day, that habitual tendency were constraining. That's the reason he brought in the mettā. So then you can kind of go away from your habitual tendency, which kind of you also helped him in kind of changing his perspective for the practice. So that is the practical reason we are using mettā. So we are using the same kind of teaching as a framework. So all these things you will be able to kind of, some of the things you will be able to identify. Yes.
How is exactly mindfulness of breath integrated in our practice? Just because there's wide awareness, there's naturally mindfulness of breath.
No, not breathing. I'm saying the aspect of the knowing and having the wide awareness, rather than wide awareness of what? You can have the wide awareness of breathing, and or you can have the wide awareness of the mettā or karuna or mudita or upekha.
So does mindfulness of breath have any role to play in our
No, because it is mindfulness of breathing means that is the object of meditation. And over here we are using object of meditation as the Brahma Viharas. In that sense, we are using mettā, karuna, mudita, upekha. So that's the only kind of thing which is there. In this way, he abides contemplating the body as body internally, or he abides contemplating the body as a body externally, or he abides contemplating the body as a body both internally and externally, or else he abides contemplating in the body its nature of arising, or he abides contemplating in the body its nature of vanishing. He abides contemplating in the body its nature of both arising and vanishing. So we are all seeing the impermanence. So whatever is happening in the body, like the sensations are changing, or the pain is there, it comes and goes, and all these things. We see all those things which are as impermanent, arising and passing away. Those are all the things which are there, are impersonal also. So we are not kind of controlling it. So they are its nature of vanishing. He contemplates its nature of arising and vanishing. So all those things which are there, which is coming and going in the body. Or else mindfulness that there is a body is simply established in him to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and mindfulness. So then there is just at one stage of time, your mind becomes very calm, and then you just know these things are just there, and you are not have to put attention. Like in when we did not take this time, but Madhya Nikaya 19, last time I had taken, and over there, first the Buddha says that you have to be careful of your mind, like as if the cows which are there do not go into the field. But after that, when the mind is developed, then it is like if open field, the cows are there. After the harvesting has happened, there are just stubs are there, and the cows are there. You are just awareness, which is the cows are there. So then this awareness which comes up, initially your mind is have to be a kind of a little bit careful about, but then you can just have this awareness that these are there. So these states are there, or these things are there. So or else mindfulness that there is a body is simply established in him to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and mindfulness. So now bare knowledge does not mean that just knowledge, but it is a kind of saying that this is the kind of the present knowledge which is there, the present time when the knowledge is there, that is the thing. So Bhante had some kind of reservations with the use of using the word bare, but he's saying that this can be kind of based on translation. This can have a different meaning, like bare awareness which is there. So those translation he did not like that. He liked the translation which is like the present awareness which is there, or just the awareness which is there in the present. So he is aware in the present that there is these things are there. Huh.
One of the things about the bare awareness, which I think, or bare knowledge, is it's just sufficient to see what is going on, not taking anything that is seen going on as the object of that awareness, but just enough for understanding.
It is not thinking about this. Not clinging to anything in the world. That is how a student abides contemplating body as a body. The four postures. Again, students, while walking, a student understands I am walking. When standing, he understands I am standing. When sitting, he understands I am sitting. When lying down, he understands I am lying down. Or he understands according however this body is disposed. So what happens is whenever we are there sitting, we know that we are sitting. But whatever positions which are there, our mindfulness is enough that we know that this is there. In this way, he abides contemplating the body as a body internally, externally, and both internally and externally. And he abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That too is how a student abides contemplating the body as a body. So, one of the things Bhante says is when you are sitting, you know you are sitting, but you also know what your mind's attention is doing. So, you are aware that you are sitting, but where is your attention? Is it on the thoughts, this and that, or is it on your object of meditation? So your awareness of the thought which is there, attention which is there on the thought. So if it is there on the thought, what you do? You siksar it and come back to this awareness of whatever is there. Sitting is there, walking is there, standing is there, or lying down is there. That awareness you bring. So if your mind get distracted, you siksar and come back. So you are aware of your attention, where it is going. In this way,
internally or externally, body internally or
body externally means for body there are two things required. So for the eye, there is an object is required for the eye consciousness to it. So it is just saying that whatever is there internally or whatever is there outer externally. For ear, there is a sound required. So for the nose, there is a smell required. For the taste, there is a kind of flavor required. For the touch, there is something form required. So that is only the internally or externally. So this is just saying that there are that whatever is there internal, other ways also it is showing like elements is there. So earth element which is there internally is the same earth element which is out externally. Whatever is the water element internally is the same water element externally. So in that sense, he is kind of saying internally and externally. Full awareness. Again, students. A student is one who acts in full awareness when going forward and returning, who acts in full awareness when looking ahead and looking away, who acts in full awareness when flexing and extending his limbs, who acts in full awareness when wearing a robes, carrying his outer bowl and robe and bowl, who acts in full awareness when eating, drinking, consuming food and tasting, who acts in full awareness when defecating, urinating, who acts in full awareness when walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking, and keeping silent. So all these activities, the full awareness is there. So what is the awareness of? Huh?
mind awareness.
The present moment?
No, you are how not just the body of the object of meditation which is there and how where your attention is. So you are aware where your attention is. It is there on a distraction, you 6 hours. If it is there on the object of meditation, so whenever you are doing whatever you are doing, you can do it with say loving kindness if you want to do it. Then you when you are walking, you are doing with or Brahma Viharas, whatever. If you are in equanimity. So when you are walking, so you are aware of your walking, and your attention is there on the feeling which is there. If you get distracted, you are aware that there is distraction is there, and you 6 hours and come back. Yes.
Are you also aware of your surrounding at that point or no?
No, you need to have surroundings only the need that you don't bump into something.
That is a bare awareness.
No, so that's the thing. The bare awareness is a kind of a thing which Bante did not like. It is just the awareness which is there, which is needed. Say when you are walking, you need 10 paces. Your attention is there on the 10 paces which are there. So that is there, and then you know where your attention is. You are aware.
Your immediate environment.
immediate environment, but your attention is where? Your attention is on your object of meditation. If it is distracted, then you know it is distracted, and then that recognized step is there. Then you release, relax, smile, and come back. So that is. Uh,
Is it wide awareness or is it like a single pointed?
no, this is wide awareness. It is awareness of whatever is, it is. It's a natural awareness in that sense. So you are naturally aware,
So
but
it's
you are.
not like, so when he says walking here,
Uh-huh.
he's not. It's like you are aware you are walking, but you're also aware of the surround. It's not the mindful walking.
Correct.
Like the.
Correct.
How do I put it, like?
Yeah, but if you are doing walking,
So-
meditation is different. Just walking is different. So if you are doing my walking meditation, you keep your eyes down. You don't look around. But if you are walking, just say you are walking from your room, then your awareness should be there all. But you also are. What are you knowing? You know where your mind's attention is at. Is it when walking, say from your house to a car, where you are parked it? You are what is where? What are you doing at that time? Where is your attention? You are thinking this and that thing. So Bhante says that at that point of time when you are thinking this and that, you are not aware where your attention is. You are walking, but you are not aware of your attention. Your attention is there on the thoughts. But when you have this awareness, then you know your attention is there on the thoughts. You can 6 hours and come back to this awareness of the feeling which is there with you. So you can walk with the feeling of loving kindness. So when they said that you can do anything which you want with that awareness of this feeling. So that is if you are working. So you have if you are washing or cleaning the room, you have to have the awareness of the whole room. But you are aware that where your attention is there. Are you thinking about this and that, or are you with the object of meditation? That awareness. So what any kind of activity which is there, your awareness is there that where your mind is resting.
Here, given he is using breath as the object of meditation, he doesn't say you are aware of the breath while you are walking.
Correct.
Does he say that? He doesn't say that.
No, he says that he acts in full awareness when walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking, and keeping silent. Full awareness. So Bhante adds, what is the awareness of? It is awareness of where your mind's attention is resting.
It can also be interpreted as wide awareness, right? If he had said in this case that be
But
aware of the
it is-
breath while you are doing all of
So
these,
yeah,
then it could mean that he's saying be aware of like the object of meditation.
what do you mean by wide awareness in that sense?
What do I mean by wide awareness? Not just the breath, but everything else around also.
Yeah, you are aware. So I am aware of everything. So what is that? I am aware. I am sitting.
Can I
Like
ask a question? Is the word for awareness and attention different here?
No, this is only awareness, which is. But where is what are you aware of? Bhante is asking this question. What are you aware of? And he says that you are aware of your attention. Where is your attention resting? So if it is resting with this object of meditation, then everything becomes a meditation. So walking, sleeping, washing your clothes, sweeping the floor, everything becomes a meditation because your awareness, your attention is on the object of meditation. If it is on distraction, then it is distraction. That is the normal thing. Where is your attention when you are doing anything else? You are just thinking this and that, and you are.
when we are sitting to meditate, we, of course, you have your attention on the loving kindness or
Correct.
the screen in this sense, but you're also wide aware of other sounds, other stuff, right?
Correct.
So
But where is your attention? Your awareness is there, but where is your attention? It is there on the
attention
object.
is obviously on the object of meditation.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't talk about your attention being on breath.
Yeah, but that is what the functionality is there. No? How is it functional? So he's walking.
Is it like you are aware, like I'm aware of everything However, I made the decision to put the attention to one thing rather than many things that is my awareness. So with that attention that is in focus, this is where whether it's radiating or from loving kindness, or is this attention I'm focusing on the destruction, like things that come in, right?
Correct.
So these are the two different things. So like just now while I was washing my clothes, but I'm aware that I'm washing. However, I'm still go back to opening up, love and kindness. So that is the part that when you say that when you do every time, it becomes a meditation, and it doesn't need to be just seated and meditate. Am I right?
Correct.
What is the word for awareness here?
The word is awareness.
Sampajana.
Sampajana.
Yeah. So sometimes it's translated as clear comprehension. So there's an understanding. So when we're doing something like washing the clothes, we know the purpose for which we're doing. Yeah? We know the context in which we're doing it. We know the actions that we're doing. But we're also aware of our objective of meditation. So we're maintaining the loving kindness. They're not separate. They're not separate things. They're integrated in.
When the awareness is there, the attention has to also be there somewhere.
Sati also means awareness.
Sati is more recollection. It's reminding you to bring your attention in. It's that process.
It has memory in it. Sati has memory in it.
Yeah. This is where the subtlety of the Pali language is more useful. Yeah. And sometimes translation, you end up with the same word in English translation, and the context is then everything. Yeah.
Okay. In this way, he abides contemplating the body as body, internally, externally, and both internally and externally, and abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That too is how a student abides contemplating the body as a body. Foulness, the bodily part. So, this I am skipping because this is something when they said that is only required when you have a lot of lust is there in the mind, but it is mentioned that all the kind of body parts, you see all the body parts in our body, which is like lungs, and you imagine the kidneys and kind of spleen and all the other things which you examine in the body. So there is one other simile is given that just as though there were a bag with an opening, both ends full of many sorts of grain, such as hill rice, red rice, beans, peas, millet, white rice, and a man with good eyes were to open it and review it thus. This is hill rice, and this is all the different kinds of rice. So, as you see, that is how you kind of imagine your body with all the organs which are there. Then the next part is about the elements. So this is kind of, there is a recollection also where it is called 32 parts of the body. So we recollect all the 32 parts of the body and its functionality. So that is done. Again, students reviews this same body, however it is placed, however disposed by way of elements. Thus, in this body there are the earth element, the water element, the fire element, and the air element. Just as though a skilled butcher or his apprentice has killed a cow and has seated at the crossroads with it cut up into pieces, so too a student reviews the same body by way of elements. Thus, in this body there are earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. So, elements can also be thought about by their characteristics. Like earth is solidity, okay, water is fluidity, air is whatever is airy or which is there, and heat can be the heat of the body which is there. Sometimes we feel cold or heat, that is the heat. So whatever is there in the body, those elements which are there, is the same which is there outside. So all of that, what we eat gives us those elements. What we breathe gives us the air element, and with the energy which is there, which gives the heat element. So that is the same thing which is there, what is outside. So when there is a baby is born, is of a certain weight, but as he kind of consumes food, it grows more and more, and as, we also sustain ourselves. So that's as elements is considered, both are the same. In this way, he abides contemplating the body as a body, internally, externally, and both internally and externally. He abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That too is how a student abides contemplating the body as a body. Again, there is a charnel ground contemplations which are there. This is also done as a practice for people who have a lot of lust or kind of attachment. So this is just a way of in the old times, what they used to do is, if there is a person who passes away and he is not in that locality, his relatives are not there, then what they used to do is they used to take the body and just keep it in the charnel ground. Now, if the relatives was further away or they were not able to come, then over the time the body would kind of decompose. So there are 9 stages which Buddha is kind of describing. So that 9 stages, the body slowly kind of decomposes. So that is a kind of a contemplation of that. So we are not going through that over here, but that is something which is given in special cases, and monks kind of do those practices also. And in certain cases, when a practitioner requires, it is done through the kind of having a guide. So it is not recommended to do on your own these practices, because there are certain places where it can go off balance. So it is a balancing practice. So if you are off balance, then to balance yourself, you do this practice of charnel ground contemplation. This too is how a student abides contemplating the body as a body. Again, a student compares the same body with it thus. This body too is of the same nature. It will be like that. It is not exempt from that fate. So you kind of see that those bodies which are there, which decompose, this is the same fate of this body also in the end. In this way, he abides contemplating the body as a body internally, or he abides contemplating the body as a body externally. He abides contemplating the body as a body both internally and externally, or else he abides contemplating the body, its nature of arising, or he abides contemplating in the body its nature of vanishing, or he abides contemplating the body, its nature of both arising and vanishing, or else mindfulness that there is a body is simply establishing him to the extent necessary for aware knowledge and mindfulness. And he abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That too is how a student abides contemplating the body as a body. Contemplation of feeling. And how student does a yes.
Does the Buddha describe mindfulness in?
Sati is mindfulness.
These are,
Sati is
these are the 4 foundations for mindfulness. Contemplating the body, contemplating feeling, contemplating mind, and contemplating mind objects. So
Body, limb, mind, and mind objects. And is it like you contemplate all 4 at the same time?
it naturally happens when you are doing your practice. Those are naturally happening as a result of the practice. So you don't have to. There are practices you can do which are separate in that sense. But if you are doing the practice as it is, then all of them are kind of naturally arising.
If you're doing all 4 together, then you're obviously mind aware.
Huh.
Right? You're contemplating all 4 together.
yes, remember when you're
Then you're
So
When you're
contemplating is one thing. One of the things Bante said is not thinking. We think of contemplating as the word which is there as thinking, thinking, thinking. But Bante said no, it is not thinking, thinking. It is being knowing.
Yes.
It's knowing, it's not.
Yeah.
And how does this sutta and the contemplation connect to our practice?
It is kind of showing the way the different factors are there, the way it is, the things which are there. The body is as the body is there, the changing nature which is there, the arising and passing away which is there, the kind of the organs which are there in the body which is there, how the body kind of gets over is there. So all the different ways, the attention which is there, like in all the kind of actions which you are doing, the awareness that all the actions which are there, so all of those are part of the practice.
I'm still not sure. Could you talk a bit more about how exactly it connects to the practice we're doing here?
In the practice, in the sense that say when we are talking about doing being in a kind of awareness of whatever is there, or your activities, so there is sitting meditation. Okay, so you have your attention which is there in the object, but then this has to also translate into all your physical activities. So Buddha is listing all the physical activities where your awareness is there. In that awareness, where is your attention? Your attention has to be there with the object of meditation. And if your attention kind of moves to the distraction, you sit there and come back. So that is whenever, whatever you are doing in your kind of day. So if you're eating, you're going and having a lie down, you are washing your face, you're washing your clothes, whatever you are doing in your kind of daily life, you have to have that awareness. So it is not just a sitting meditation. That's the reason meditation is life and life is meditation. Deepa Ma used to say that meditation is not apart from life. Okay, but what we have done is, when we say meditate, it is only sitting. And without a person not sitting, then like when Hughes teaches standing meditation, also many people say, oh, it can be done in standing. Or Bhante is giving walking meditation, that time also people used to say, no, it has to be in this way, very concentrated, and because he did that very kind of like this way. He said that I could kind of some number, I forget now the number, but the foot falling has certain 9 kind of there are steps which are there when the foot falls like this. So he could just see all those things. So that is not what the Buddha is explaining over here. Over here he is explaining you are walking, you are washing, you are eating, you are doing everything. So that thing which you are doing when you are sitting, you are carrying forward to everything which you are doing.
Is there a difference in the mindfulness of body versus mindfulness of feelings versus mindfulness of mind? And
That is the knowing. That's what Bhante is saying, that you just know this is this are things.
what I mean by that is there a difference in that skill? So if I have to learn that skill, maybe I'm in the beginning, maybe I'm good at paying attention to my body, right? But I'm not good at paying attention to my thoughts. And is it like this Sutta is saying, hey, you have to pay, like you have to learn mindfulness of body separately, of all of these
No,
things
no,
separately, and get good at
that is not that. That is not the case. But what it is saying, that what are the things which are happening when your awareness is there in different things. Your awareness of body brings up what? What your awareness of feeling brings up what? Your awareness of mind objects bring up of what? What are the aspects of that? So it's kind of a as we went to MN111, where there are many things which are there, but not everything which you may be able to notice or kind of experience. In the same way, this is not the kind of the thing which is a menu where you have to experience everything. So whatever is possible is kind of explained over here. So these are the all things which is possible to know from the awareness which is there, which is the mindfulness which you are doing in your practice. Okay.
So in 111, it's mentioned that Sariputta was aware of things as they arose, not that he went through all of these sequences and checked all of them. Yeah. So if your breath is short, and you're aware that you know that's how it is. If it's long, if there's tension in the body, you tranquilize that. It's this awareness that's bringing you back to the state of, if you like, sati.
Actually, my question is that because in MN111, he lists some, a number of things that he is aware of. Okay?
But only when they arise.
As they arise.
As they arise, yes. Yeah.
In some way, is this practice of sati helping him to then be able to recognize those states?
Yes, it's
Because otherwise, I don't know what I'm experiencing.
you're developing the capacity for recollection.
This is a part of that. It's not. There are not two different practices.
Not only, it's also the capacity to see as things are emerging. So unless you are mindful of your present state, you will not be able to be aware of what is emerging and what is passing.
You won't see the movement of mind from one thing to the next.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is that kind of keen awareness of that.
But it's not a hypervigilance.
It's not
This is where the
hypervigilance.
bare awareness is. If we're hypervigilant, we're
Yeah, I'm not saying that. Just to his question.
Yeah.
It feels like to me that we are doing a full thing.
You have to do this. That is the feeling you are getting is you have to do all these things.
No.
Ah.
We have to I have to pay attention to. I have to be aware of the body. In the practice that we are doing, we have to be aware.
The awareness is there, and how those things are kind of happening. That is what it is, the description of all those things which are happening.
Right, but what I'm trying, the difference I'm trying to understand is that, before I started meditation, right, most of the time awareness was not there.
Correct.
So when we came here, we said, okay, awareness should be there.
Correct.
In a way where attention can be paid to the object of meditation.
Correct.
And I know when my attention has been dragged somewhere else.
Correct.
Which means in my awareness, I know where the attention is.
Correct.
And the way I'm understanding what you're saying is, and for me sometimes it's easier to be aware of the body sensations at sometimes.
Then body sensation, that is feeling, no?
Yes. What I'm saying is at different times, when something pulls me away, it is easy to be aware of the body itself sometimes.
That is a different thing. This is a different kind of thing. This is saying that all this thing which is there, where your awareness can be. So knowing of this can happen, knowing of this can happen, knowing of this can happen. And when you are taking this to all these things which are possible, in that same way, you may be aware of them. So we are going now to feeling. So what are the feelings which you are aware?
So that when I learn to be aware of these things.
Correct.
Then when I'm in the practice, it becomes easier.
So
otherwise, when I don't know that I should be aware of, as an example, I don't understand when you were saying what the mind and mind objects. That distinction is not clear to me. So if I'm only aware of one of them, then I might miss when the other one comes.
Correct.
Right? So
But you are not taking everything and examining it.
Right.
You are just being aware when it arises. Yes.
I would just want to come on the same page if I'm understanding it right. Yes, you said that the more we practice, the more we are in mettā. Not just during sitting or walking meditation, 24/7, whatever we are doing, the more we are in the state of mettā, effortlessly, not just consciously trying to put effort, with the natural organic.
You still have the intention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Intention. So what happens as a byproduct is, the more we are in the state of mettā 24/7, naturally is because mind expands, and because of the expansion of the mind, the awareness around be it feelings, be it bodily sensations or hindrances. We used the word yesterday to become more sensitive to hindrances.
The arising of the hindrances.
So these two things are completely like directly related. Na?
Mhm.
This is exactly what you said yesterday, what we're just expanding and
Yep.
Correct.
And the Buddha is describing, all the things
Yeah.
that you can bring that awareness to. Yeah.
Okay.
At the start, when he talks about breath,
Ah.
right? Follow the breath and then see the body as the body in breath. Does he say that for the other things also, mind objects? He
No,
doesn't say that.
no, but it is assumed that your attention is resting. So it can rest on the breathing, or it can rest on the feeling of Brahma Viharas. See, your awareness is there, but where is your attention? Your attention is on the breath or on the Brahma Viharas. That does not make a difference. That is what I am saying. The breathing and the Brahma Viharas which are there are interreplaceable because that is the object of your attention.
And this is MN2, right?
No, MN10.
MN10.
Ah.
So is there an order that this came before the others?
No, we don't know that. It is there have been some attempts, but I don't know. There has been some clues are there, and they have made an attempt also, but it is generally not possible to take them.
Like he used breath first, and then he figured there are other ones also.
No.
The breath meditation, Brahma Vihara meditation were well established before the time of the Buddha. Okay, so both of those were ways of working, and when I first met Bhante Vimhamsi, he was still teaching both, and he said it was up to the student which one they wanted to use. Okay.
I think mettā forces you to have a wide awareness anyways. Breath, on the other hand, I think
This is the danger.
The way it
This-
is
can
taught.
be very.
You can be one-pointed on metta.
This is the danger.
It can be
One pointed on mettā
Yeah.
also.
You know, if you're saying mettā in all directions, then you're
That's
anyway.
the all directions is what is happening.
That's what I'm saying. If you're saying mettā in all directions, then you're
But it's
anyway.
not obvious.
No, but it's the
thing
all
is there.
directions which is having the openness, not the.
The context in which we are kind of giving the practice, or we means Bhante is giving the practice, is what makes it change. So he understands.
You can be single pointed on mettā.
Yes.
Oh yes, and there are practices that do that, and they're called the absorption jhanas, where you absorb into the factor of the jhana.
No. Laboring.
So we are contemplating of feeling.
Actually, everyone has their own interpretation. So it's very,
Yeah.
I guess you have to experience yourself and then decide.
See, what's interesting is, you see, this is the mindfulness of body. Now there is a mindfulness of body sutta, where the Buddha goes and says, you can just work with this, and that will also take you all the way through. What he's looking at is the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So that he's describing what the whole picture of the mindfulness is.
There are many times the
So
Buddha.
body, feeling, mind, and mind objects. Mind objects is thoughts.
That's, yeah.
That is one way of kind of. Bhante said that thinking of them as thoughts is easier because when we are meditating, we are encountering thoughts, but it can be different.
What's mind?
Mind is a CPU. The central processing unit.
Mind is the states of mind rather than the content of mind. So that's the mind in the various stages of, is it concentrated, is it not concentrated, am I aware or am I unaware? It's the nature of the mind, and then the mind objects is, if you like, what's going through the mind.
Got it.
So it's nothing kind of fixed. It's a process in that sense. And how does a student abide contemplating feelings as feelings? Here, when feeling a pleasant feeling, a student understands I feel a pleasant feeling. When feeling a painful feeling, he understands I feel a painful feeling. When feeling a neither painful nor pleasant feeling, he understands I feel a neither painful nor pleasant feeling. When feeling a worldly pleasant feeling, he understands I feel a worldly pleasant feeling. What is a worldly pleasant feeling? Worldly pleasant feeling. Huh?
External.
Whatever pleasure you get, so anything like having good ice cream or something like that. That's a worldly pleasant feeling. When feeling an unworldly pleasant feeling, he understands I feel an unworldly pleasant feeling. What is an unworldly pleasant feeling? Mettā is one. Whatever Brahma, whereas is one. It is in jhanic states. The feeling which you have in jhanic states is unworldly. So when you are feeling all the normal pleasures, it is different when you are in the jhanic states which are there. I feel a pleasant feeling. When feeling a unworldly pleasant feeling, he understands I feel an unworldly pleasant feeling. When feeling an worldly painful feeling, he understands he feels a worldly painful feeling. When feeling an unworldly painful feeling, he understands I feel an unworldly painful feeling. What is a worldly painful feeling?
Attachments, pain that we experience because of our desires, our things that we want.
Correct.
Finishing the ice cream.
And what is the unworldly painful feeling?
Meditation
The
pain.
thing that,
Correct.
yeah.
Meditation pain. Very good. I feel an unworldly painful feeling. When feeling a worldly, neither painful nor pleasant feeling, he understands I feel a worldly, neither painful nor pleasant feeling. When feeling an unworldly, neither painful nor pleasant feeling, he understands I feel an unworldly, neither painful nor pleasant feeling. What is a worldly, neither painful nor pleasant feeling?
Neutral.
Neutral feelings, which are that like certain times you are sitting and time passes. You are not paying attention to anything and that time passes. So there is not pain also over there, there is no pleasure also. So that is can be a dullness of mind or ignorance is there in that state. What is the worldly, neither painful nor pleasant feeling? No, unworldly. Equanimity. Equanimity. Because there our awareness is there in that state of mind. Insight. In this way, he abides contemplating feeling as feeling internally, or he abides contemplating feeling as feeling externally, or he abides contemplating feeling as feeling both internally and externally, or else he abides contemplating in feeling their nature of arising, or he abides contemplating in feeling their nature of vanishing. He abides contemplating in feeling their nature of both arising and vanishing, or else mindfulness that there is feeling is simply establishing him to the extent necessary for the bare knowledge and mindfulness, and he abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That is how a student abides contemplating feeling as feeling.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you think the Buddha has brought feeling out for such important consideration?
Because it is a part of the process of dependent origination also. Because I think when there is a contact, there is a feeling. When there is a feeling, there is a I like it, I don't like it. There a perception is also there. And you, what one perceives, what that one thinks about. What one thinks about, that one kind of mentally proliferates. So what happens is then there is feeling this I like it, I don't like it, and there is all the justification of I like it or don't like it. So the feeling, knowing the feeling is important.
So then the feeling is the starting point of taking things personally.
Taking things personally.
Are these also four of the five skandhas?
Huh?
Are these also four of the five skandhas?
Mm-hmm.
That also why? Because we identify with these as the
self.
What are the five skandhas?
So,
Sensations, body, feelings, mind objects.
so
The skandhas, there's on the skandhas. There's body, feeling, perception, then skandhas, yeah, sankhara, sorry,
Sankhara.
and the consciousness.
So perception and consciousness can be said as the mind kind of, it is like the part of the mind or the field of the mind, which are there.
They're not the Suttas.
So it can be kind of mapped to the
But not the Suttas.
not the same, but it can be mapped to the this thing. So there is a kind of a map also Sister Khima used to make, where she used to kind of map those five with the four. That can be mapped. So like perception and consciousness, mind, this thing, and the sankharas are the mind objects. It can be mind to mind objects. And how does a student abide contemplating mind as mind? Here a student understands mind affected by lust as mind affected by lust. A mind unaffected by lust as a mind unaffected by lust. He understands a mind affected by hate as a mind affected by hate. A mind unaffected by hate as a mind unaffected by hate. He understands mind affected by delusion. What is delusion? It is taking things personally. Okay, this is me, this is mine, this is myself. Whenever you take things personally, you are deluding yourself. So that is a mind affected by delusion and mind unaffected by delusion as mind unaffected by delusion. He understands contracted mind as contracted mind. What is a contracted mind?
Clinging mind.
Yeah, but that is what she's understood that. But when is that happens?
When we are not
Huh?
attached
When you
or
cling to
in loving or kindness, if you're too rigid.
But when does this happen? When you are into sloth and torpor.
Oh, correct.
When the sloth and torpor is that you feel the mind is heavy. You kind of this thing mind does not have room to. Everything feels like honey. When they used to say once, it is like if the machine has honey in it, how does it everything move slowly? So
But
that
when
is
your mind
contracted.
clings also, you're not wide aware anymore, right? You're again. Shouldn't that be an interpretation as well?
This is showing. See, because that is not the interpretation, because the other part of it. What is a distracted mind as a distracted mind? What is a distracted mind?
Something which is clung to something which is not the object of meditation.
Restlessness and remorse. When the mind is restless, what happens is the mind is distracted. It goes here and there. When it is contracted, it kind of is not able to kind of focus on anything. And that's how you know that it is about the two hindrances, which is that. That is sloth and torpor is a contracted mind, and restlessness and remorse is the distracted mind. He understands exalted mind as exalted mind. What is an exalted mind? Huh? It is the mind in the jhanas. First to fourth jhana, it is considered to be exalted mind. And unexalted mind as unexalted mind. He understands surpassed mind as surpassed mind. What is that surpassed mind? No. Yes, very good. Logically, you said. So it is an arupa jhana. When the mind is in arupa jhana, it's called surpassed mind. And unsurpassed mind as unsurpassed mind. He understands concentrated mind as concentrated mind. This concentrated mind is the mind when it is collected. So it can be very kind of focused on whatever it wants to put your attention in something. It's a mind in samadhi or in the jhana states, which is there. And unconcentrated mind as unconcentrated mind. He understands liberated mind as liberated mind and unliberated mind as unliberated. What is the liberated mind? It can one is a nibbana. One other is at that point of time there is no kind of the craving, aversion, and delusion. So Bhante says that at the time when you do kind of release and then relax, that time you are giving up that, and then there is a part of the mind which is like you feel nice, when you do the 6R. That part is considered to be a mind which is liberated because it does not have the hindrances at that point of time. But it comes back. Then again you do that. It says you have to maybe do it 100 times, maybe 100,000 times, maybe a million times, maybe a billion times. But at one point of time, it will be totally gone. And that is the process. So 6R is the continuing process which you do. Insight. In this way, he abides contemplating mind as mind internally, or he abides contemplating mind as mind externally. He abides contemplating mind as mind both internally and externally, or else he abides contemplating in mind its nature of arising, or he abides contemplating in mind its nature of vanishing. He abides contemplating in mind its nature of both arising and vanishing, or else mindfulness that there is mind is simply established in him to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and mindfulness, and he abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. This is how a student abides contemplating mind as mind. So there is
Yeah. May
So
I
are
ask you?
each of these contemplations done at the same time, or are they like you contemplate only the body first, then you contemplate only the feeling, then you contemplate?
contemplate is, as Bhante says, is not about thinking. That is not done separately, but knowing when it is happening. When it happens, when there is sloth and torpor, you know there is a sloth and torpor in the mind. You know when you have a restlessness, then you know that there is restlessness in the mind. You know when you are in the jhanas, that you are in the jhanas. You know when you are not in the jhanas, you are not in the jhanas.
But are you knowing, like, are they separate practices, or is it like it's one practice where you're knowing all of these?
Yes, as I kind of you kind of said that.
It's the flow.
Ha.
The flow.
So you're not separating and kind of putting your attention. As you are doing this practice, all these things are happening. Sloth and torpor happens, restlessness happens. You go into jhanas, you come out of jhanas. You go into arupa jhanas, come out of arupa jhanas. So sometimes the mind is kind of very collected. Sometimes it is not collected. All this is happening.
Bhante, would it be appropriate to describe that contemplation of mind as understanding the texture of the mind?
Okay.
So if you think of it as understanding the texture of the mind, whilst you're aware of what the body is doing, you can see the possibility of being aware of both of these things at the same time. Yeah? Rather than thinking of them as objects. Don't think of them as objects, think of them as context. Yeah?
So one of the things I understood with the Buddha's teaching is that he is giving all that information, but that is not that all that information is needed. Only maybe contemplating on the nutriment, the Buddha says, can lead you to Nibbana. Knowing consciousness can lead you to Nibbana. Knowing impermanence can lead you to Nibbana. Knowing dukkha can lead you to Nibbana. Knowing impersonality or anatta can lead you to Nibbana. So all of them individually can also take you. But now we need to know, or when he is teaching that all of this is there. And as you said, it is like mind's texture is there. So, but whatever is happening, you are knowing at the time when it is happening. You are not going out of your way. So you don't do two practices. You do this one practice, and in this practice, all of this is arising. Body is there, feeling is there, mind is there, mind objects are there.
One way to interpret it could also be that your object of meditation is the breath, like he started off. And while you're focused on the breath, you're contemplating on, you're knowing, the state of the body, the state of the mind, the state of the mind object, the state of the feeling.
Yes.
Would it be
Yeah, but that is what I'm saying, that replacing the breathing with mettā or brahmaviharas does not make any difference.
Correct. That's right. But basically, whatever is your object of meditation, while you're like your attention is the object of meditation, you're also knowing these four at the same time.
Anapanasati is that. Exactly.
I see the first few lines is the Anapana.
Yeah, Anupada.
The first few lines of this is the Anapana.
That is you're continuing the attention on the breath, and then it actually has mindfulness of body.
Is there a separate sutta, Anapanasati?
Yeah, Anupada.
It's not this
It's
one.
not this one.
Oh, it's not this one.
No.
Because in that additionally there is also contemplation on anicca, anatta,
But all of this is there, no? Arising and passing away is arising and passing away gives two things. It gives actually three things. Arising and passing away means it is impermanent. Arising and passing away also means that it is impersonal. And the passing away is also the dukkha which is there. So if you have something and you don't have that, then you create dukkha, no? That creates dukkha. So there is nothing permanent. So that all that is in that arising and passing away. So when we are seeing the kind of the mind or the feeling over here or the mind over here, we are seeing that we are also seeing the impermanence, also seeing the dukkha, the resistance to that, also seeing the impersonality of that, because all of this is also arising impersonally. So all of those things we are also seeing in the mind itself, or the feeling, or the body, or the mind objects. Now we are going. Okay?
And the dukkha you see is in the Vedana, because pleasant feeling is sukha, unpleasant feeling is dukkha. So when you're contemplating feeling, you're also contemplating the nature of sukha and the nature of dukkha, and seeing that they are equally impermanent.
Why is there so much emphasis on insight in Suttas?
Because
You know, there's so much vipassana means insight, there's so much insight. And theoretically you understand all the things. You understand
Yeah.
Sutta, you understand Anatta,
see, that is
you've
see,
seen something. Like, is it that once you get the insight, you've seen it once?
no.
this sutta actually does not have the word vipassana.
Sorry?
This sutta doesn't have the word vipassana.
This particular sutta doesn't have the word at all.
Possible. No, but I'm not. And you're saying there's no insight in this one. Vipassana means insight. No?
No, see what the simplest way to understand is it starts with ignorance. The whole process of this samsara starts with ignorance. It ends with knowledge. And how do you know? By seeing. So that's the reason knowing and seeing is a part of the.
I mean, in our sittings, all of us would have at least once for sure seen dukkha, anatta, and anicca.
You're not going to
But that doesn't get you anywhere, right?
Yeah, why are we repeating is because there is at one level you have understood it. So there is one thing which the Buddha is talking about. The lake is there. So lake on the surface you have understood the lake, but then there is a just below the surface also you can understand the lake, and then you can go just below. There is a different experience over there, and then you go at each level you understand differently. If you go to the bottom of the lake, you understand it in a different manner. So at every level, the lake remains the same, but your relationship with the lake changes because of the depth of the understanding which is there. So practice remains the same, but your depth of understanding kind of keeps changing as you go forward.
So you see, everyone sees dukkha, but they don't see how they create their own dukkha, and they don't see how to escape from that creating of their own dukkha. So you see the consequences, but not the causes. And as you investigate more, you understand what the causes are and how they're optional, and how they're created. And they're created because we take some experience personally. But unless you see that process actually played out in the mind as an experience in the here and now, you are not convinced. It's simply an idea.
But once you've seen it play once, I'm guessing then it is about committing it to memory.
Not memory.
No. No.
Right,
No.
memory as in, the
No.
Sati Sampadan memory. So
Yeah,
it's
but-
like every time something happens, you know that this is Anupada, this is Dukkha, and this is.
It's like saying,
And
I've
hence
seen
you're not
Sachin
attached.
Tendulkar's
But
all his
memory-
matches.
Sorry?
I've seen all Sachin Tendulkar's matches. I know exactly the strokes he plays. And therefore, I deserve to be
But see, memorizing is a good thing in that sense that the Buddha is not saying that you should not have memory in or not memorize those things. That is a easy access you get. So when you have in memory, you have easy access and easy recall. So memory is an important part of the teaching, but memory will not lead to it. But your understanding at that one level of understanding, it becomes natural. So you don't. Nobody has to experiential.
Experiential internalization of the process.
Correct.
Not.
I mean, one way I like to think about it as muscle memory. So it has to be muscle memory of that.
That internalizes, and then you're basically, your muscle memory is saying there is Anatta, there is.
What to do? What to do is before we even think. So the muscle memory is, in this situation, how do I not take the dukkha?
At one point, it can be just having the knowledge. The next time, next level could be, as he's saying, you just do. That is why the Bhante likes the words for bhava, habitual tendency. So when you think of this as your habits, and what you are doing is changing your habits, that kind of gives a better context. So sometimes you are trying to change a habit, say eat healthy, but you keep going back to the old food, and but then you slowly give it up, and then you have a new habit. In that same way, your habitual tendencies depend on how much you were doing. So I showed that the video of the bicycle. In that bicycle, the child was easier to kind of change than the adult, because adult had a longer period of the old habits. So then that is also a part. So we don't know, because we may be a trillion lifetime old, and because that is there, what are our habits? Our 10,000 lifetime habit, or is it a 1,000 lifetime habit, or is it a 100 lifetime habit? We don't know. But so what we can do is, in the present, we are always there in the present. In the present, we see and we kind of understand the present, whatever is there. Whatever is there in the present, we learn. So if sloth and torpor comes, you say, okay, this is the mind which is contracted. When there is a restlessness, then you say this is a distracted mind. So then you know that this is a distracted mind. You know. You don't have to do anything. You have to just 6 hours. That is the right effort. You recognize, release, relax, come back. But you know, okay, this is that. Okay, you know, this is the state which is there. So by knowing again and again and again, then your habit can change. As he said, it can turn into muscle memory. At one point of it can be just memory. You know, you can label it. But at one point of time, you don't even have to label it. It just happens. Certain habits are there in that way, no? That the certain things which you do. So I give always this example. Whenever I see a Baskin Robbins, I kind of go and get an ice cream.
And also the development, the Buddha says, you know, we get to a stage where we have knowledge and vision. Knowledge is what's being shared here, but vision is how you verify it for yourself. But that's not the done job. Then disenchantment develops, where and I like to think of disenchantment as think of a Disney film where everyone's enchanted. You know, they've been enchanted. There's been a spell, so they're not seeing reality as it is. Disenchantment is beginning to see the reality as it really is. And then comes dispassion, which means that we're not driven by our emotions now, which would have been fueled by disenchantment. And then comes knowledge and wisdom. So it's not enough to have the knowledge and vision. It's where we need to start. But we need to continue to develop to the disenchantment, to the dispassion, and then to the wisdom. And this is where we can have an intellectual wisdom. I understand the cosmology of the Buddha taught, and still not be able to apply it.
Yeah, and there are so many people like that who are great cosmologists when it comes to Buddhism, but they have not attained even any level of realization. There are many people whom you can read, they write about every single sutta.
There is one monk who was, I really liked his writings. I have to confess, I'm not going to name his monk. I really, once I was in Thailand, Vatmananachat, I was reading his kind of story. And when I put this book down, I was in a different kind of mind state. And then I just went to lie down to sleep. But I had just open awareness of whatever is happening. The whole night I was just aware of the whole thing. I did this wonderful experience the whole night. I went and in the day I was like, I had a best sleep ever. I had energy and this and that. We had to work and all these things from 3 o'clock in the morning. So I had all this experience and this. I had a chance to kind of have interactions with this monk, and he seems to be a little bit of oddball. Then I said, okay, this is what is happening. There is some office politics happening over here with me, just temple politics. And then I came to know about a story about him, that once he had somebody kind of attending to him. Just because he dented his bowl, for the next some years, he never allowed him to kind of serve him, just because of dented bowl. Because dented bowl would mean that somebody would say that you are not mindful, and he would get that thing. So he was so self-conscious. And I said, how can kind of such a monk be so self-conscious? And I still read his writing. So whenever he's writing, I read it because it is really good. Even now, I kind of feel that he writes very well. But in his life, implementation is not that. As kind of Vimlaji is kind of pointing out, that can also happen. That there can be, as Hugh said, there can be kind of knowledge, but it is not the kind of the dispassion which you have reached. Knowledge and wisdom has not reached. So, but that is a journey.
One of my students put it beautifully. He's an engineer and this. And he said to me the other day, about a month ago, he said to me, "Hugh, I can't tell you how many times I've understood quantum mechanics." In other words, when the lecture's there, you're like, yeah, I understand it, you know. And then, 3 days later, it's like, no, I don't. And then, and then he watches something else and he understands it. And then a few days later, no, because the depth behind it isn't there. Yeah, we see the surface expression of it, but the understanding needs to grow. Yeah.
And it only grows with experience.
Yeah.
Because I had done so much reading on Buddhism before I came to the Deer Park retreat, and it was all just theoretical. And it really didn't make much sense till I started practicing, and then it came alive.
And even when you practice, I sometimes listen to Dharma talks on YouTube, and some of them I think, wow, they're wonderful. And I get to the end of it and go, no, what did they say? And sometimes I've gone back and listened 3 times, and I still at the end of it can't. And then some Dharma talks, because they connect, it's like, oh yes, I remember it. Yeah. And that's how it can be.
And one other thing is that you don't kind of know at 0 or 100. It is not like Zen. The movement of Satori is there, which kind of Ananda kind of refers to it. But you go by levels. So what you have seen, say you see the impermanence and you see the anatta, you see kind of the dukkha in that practice. That is a level of understanding. Now there is another level of understanding which will kind of have another meaning to it, the same thing which you see, and that meaning will have a different kind of experience, and there will be something else in the behavior that changes, and then again you will see that the same things, and when you again see those same things, that will have a different kind of relationship with that, and that relationship will change the behavior once again. So when there is a sotapanna, he has a different action. He has a Sakdagami is there, he has a different action. And Anagami is there, a different action. The Arahant has a different action. So there are levels to it also. So it could be that you are at one level. We cannot speculate. But knowing those things could mean that you are at a one level, because that knowing is itself that understanding of that level. There is no kind of external endorsement for it. Buddha says that if you understand these things, you can consider yourself this. If you see this, you can consider yourself this. It does not say that you go to such as a monk and kind of get a confirmation certificate. So it is a self-reference. What is the reference for the? We talked about last retreat also of an arahant. How do you know when you become an arahant? Buddha said, see if your mind has any lust in it. See if your mind has any hatred in it. See if your mind has any delusion in it. If it is not there, then consider yourself an arahant.
And so this sometimes seems like a paradox, because the Buddha said this practice is instantly effective. But he said it's a gradual training. Instantly effective? Gradual. Instantly effective because you see, as soon as you have the information, you see. But the development is gradual.
I think also when you let go, there is an expansion that happens.
Instantly.
But instantly effective, but you forget to let go. So
Then that's the habit.
thank you.
Habitual tendency. Then you change the habit by doing it again and again, and then that will happen. So I think we will have to progress in the sutta. Huh?
All the reading and discussions today reminded me, I don't know if it's appropriate, this whole aspect of living mindfully in all the waking moments and the inward discussion, especially what you said on knowledge to disenchantment. This Herman Hesse's book on Siddhartha seemed exactly like all of the discussions today. The horseman was there, he's living it. And then there's a monk who wants to go and attain the.
Inspired by this one.
Like exactly.
It's inspired by this.
Like this.
I mean, the whole body.
So contemplation of mind object, the 5 hindrances, and how students does a student abide contemplating mind objects and mind object. Here is a student abides contemplating mind objects and mind object in terms of the 5 hindrances. And how does a student abide contemplating mind objects and mind object in terms of the 5 hindrances? Here, being sensual desire in him, he understands there is sensual desire in me. Or there being no sensual desire in him, he understands there is no sensual desire in me. And he also understands how there comes to be the arising of unarisen sensual desire, and how there comes to be the abandoning of unarisen sensual desire, and how there comes to be future non-arising of abandoned sensual desire. So this is talking about the progress in this thing. So the last part is non-arising of abandoned sensual desires comes when you are totally given up. All this has been given up. That time you are non-arising of any sensual desire.
As per this, should we interpret the practice as, let's say we're sitting, you have a slight joy, Now, should you then also say, okay, now this joy is a pleasant feeling. Now, we don't do all that, no? We just like, you look at the joy.
But you know that whatever is there, you know what is happening. That awareness is there. So when there is joy, you are aware that there is joy. You don't have to make a mental note of it. Huh?
Isn't joy also a sense of feeling?
It is a feeling.
Yeah. You see, there's nothing wrong with joy. The Buddha said you can have pleasant feeling, you can have unpleasant feeling. It's not in your control. He didn't say avoid pleasant feeling or avoid unpleasant feeling. No, we're not moving into a grey goo. There is all of this variety. Yeah? But he said, watch it arise, stays a while, and watch it disappear. Yeah? And see your relationship to that. If you are attached to the pleasant feeling, you will resent it disappearing. And you'll see the arising of dukkha. Otherwise, you just see the pleasant feeling disappear. When you get to the end of the ice cream, you don't mind.
But okay, your contemplation is awkward. You know that you have a pleasant feeling, so you're fine.
Yes.
You're thinking, I guess that's like,
Know that you have pleasant feeling.
Yeah, contemplating can kind of suggest your regurgitation.
Mind objects are the five hindrances.
He kind of contemplates the mind objects as mind objects in terms of the five hindrances. So, in context of five hindrances, he is saying, so there is sensual pleasure, there being ill will in him, he knows there is ill will. There being sloth and torpor in him, he knows there is sloth and torpor. There being restlessness and remorse in him, he knows that. There being doubt in him, a student understands there is doubt in me. So whatever is there, he understands that and how those are coming up and how that can be let go. You can 6R them, and at one point of time, you can know before it comes. In the advanced meditation levels, you will be able to see what happens before this comes. And something happens before and you let go and that does not come up. So that also is at an advanced meditation stage. When your awareness is more clear, you will be able to let go of that also. And then there is a
states of mind. That is mind is the state of mind.
So those things which are there, he will be able to see that it does not even arise. Then there is a state where it will not, before it arises only, you can let them go, and then there is no further arising. That is the state of an arahant, where there are no hindrances. Arahant does not face any hindrances. Even a anagami who is there, the third level of this is there, he faces restlessness. So at one point, you don't face any of those hindrances. At that point, you are an arahant. Then arahant does not face any kind of those hindrances. In this way, he abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects internally, or he abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects externally, or he abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects both internally and externally, or else he abides contemplating mind objects their nature of arising, or he abides contemplating mind objects their nature of vanishing, or he abides contemplating mind objects their nature of both arising and vanishing, or else mindfulness that there are mind objects is simply established in him to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and mindfulness, and he abides independent, not clinging to anything in this world. That is how a student abides contemplating mind objects and mind objects in terms of the five aggregates. Again, students, a student abides contemplating the mind objects as mind objects in terms of the five aggregates affected by clinging. So when affected by clinging is what Bhante says. So those five aggregates are a problem only when we have clinging to it. When there is no clinging to it, it is not a problem. So only a arahant will not have the clinging to it. There is some kind of clinging which is there still in the anagami stages also. So these are the stage of anybody who is not an arahant. These are the stages are there. And how does a student abide contemplating mind objects as mind objects in terms of the five aggregates affected when affected by clinging. Here a student understands such is material form, such its origin, such its disappearance, such is feeling, such its origin, such its disappearance, such its perception, such is its origin, such its disappearance, such are the formations, such their origin, such their disappearance, such is consciousness, such is origin, such its disappearance. So he sees the origination and disappearance. There is one other way in other sutta that Buddha is talking about is the origination, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger and escape. So now in this, origination is how something comes into being, like a thought comes in, how it goes away. So what happens to gratification is when you are engaged in that, you are feeling well, like eating ice cream. At the time when you are ice cream, you are eating, you are enjoying the ice cream. What is the danger in it? That it is impermanent. Ice cream will get over. What is the escape? Knowing this eightfold path, knowing the practice. When you are doing 6R, you are doing the eightfold path. So that is the escape from it. So you know the origination and disappears. So over here, that is the origination disappears. How everything originates and how it goes away. So,
Yeah. One way of looking at this is, these are different lenses through which to observe mind objects. Okay? And in different suttas, there can be an array of monks, and the Buddha's going around and says, "How, what is your practice?" And they, "Well, I observe using the five aggregates." Another one says, "I observe looking at it through the lens of hindrances. I observe." It's not that we're doing all of this all of the time.
and one of the things is, it says the best way to do it is this way. Other says the best way to do it this way. Then they all go to the Buddha, and the Buddha says, "You are all correct."
Oh God.
So that is it's a surprising answer, but the Buddha says all correct. That okay, you can do breathing, you can do mettā, you can do this shunyata and all these things.
Which sutta is this?
It is. This is in Samyutta Nikaya.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I haven't got my Samyutta with me.
Yeah, you also just remind me after that. Then I can search for it.
Yeah. It's and again, it's to a certain extent, it's personality. What do you find most accessible? Because these are lenses revealing an underlying reality. The underlying reality is the same. They're just different lenses into that.
We have different biases.
Yeah.
Therefore, we need different corrections.
Yeah. And the brilliance of the Buddha is the fact that essentially he didn't have that bias.
Okay, moving forward. Again, students. A student abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects in terms of the 6 internal and external bases. And how does a student abide contemplating mind objects as mind objects in terms of the 6 internal and external bases? Here, a student understands the I. He understands forms. So I internal and the forms are external. And he understands the fetter that arises dependent on both. So when there is a contact, there is a kind of the feeling is there, and there is a craving which is coming up. So the fetter is the kind of craving. Craving can also be considered as fetters. Fetters can be used interchangeably. So fetters. Okay, where was I? Arising of unarisen fetter, and how there comes to be the abandoning of arisen fetter. And abandoning is what? Siksaring. That. And how there comes to be the future non-arising of the abandoned fetter. That future non-arising is at the time of totally giving up. That is the Arahant stage which is there. So till the time you are not becoming Arahant, you have to do 6R. So if you are doing 6Rs, then that is the content. He understands the ear, he understands the sound, he understands the nose, he understands the odors, he understands the tongue, he understands flavors. He understands body, he understands tangibles, He understands the mind, and he understands mind objects. He understands the fetter that arises dependent on both. He also understands how there comes to be the arising of unarisen fetter, and how there comes to be the abandoning of the arisen fetter, and how there comes to be the future non-arising of the abandoned fetter. In this way, he abides contemplating mind objects as mind object internally, externally. 7 enlightenment factors. Again, students, a student abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects in terms of the 7 enlightenment factors. So this enlightenment factors is also something which happens when you are doing the meditation. So there is enlightenment factor as again the 7 enlightenment. And how does a student abide contemplating mind objects and mind objects in terms of the 7 enlightenment factors? Here, there being a mindfulness enlightenment factor in him, a student understands there is a mindfulness enlightened factor in me. So when that is there, he knows that is there. So when there is a mindfulness factor which is there, then what happens? Investigation of states factor comes in. So then he can contemplate the investigation of states factor. When that is there, then the energy factor is there. So then he knows there is an energy factor which is there. Then there is piti or the joy comes up. And joy is there, that he knows that there is joy. Then pasadi or tranquility comes up. When that is coming up, he knows that is coming up. When samadhi or collectedness of mind is coming up, then he knows that is there. Then upekha or equanimity comes up, then he knows that is coming up. And the Buddha is also saying one encouraging thing about this 7 factors of awakening. The Buddha says if you have the mindfulness and factor, then you don't have to have a volition that the investigation factor to arise. Because if you are mindful of this, then you are also investigating this. No? You know what is happening over here. Then there is a balance of energy which is happening automatically when there is investigation is there. So there is a balance of energy factor is automatically in effect. When your energy is balanced, you are not kind of in sloth and torpor or restlessness. What happens is joy arises in the mind. You don't have to do anything. Joy arises. When the mind is joyful, the body is tranquil. When that body is tranquil, mind is collected. When the mind is collected, it goes into equanimity. So Buddha
What is the
says
difference between tranquility and collected?
tranquility is the body feels nice and kind of comfortable. Comfortable. The one description of tranquility is, say if you go into a lake which has the body temperature of water, and then sit till your kind of neck, and how comfortable you will feel, because the temperature is exactly matching your temperature, and then you feel light and comfortable. That is the feeling of tranquility. And that is there, then you can put your attention on anything and it stays over there. And then when it stays, then your mind becomes tranquil. The mind goes into equanimity. So that you see that it is automatically going, even if we are not telling you, it can go. Certain people have experienced that equanimity even when we have not mentioned that. So in the interview, there was one of us who said that. And then, okay, they were in equanimity on its own. So that is how, when the factors are right, it automatically happens. You don't need to know about those things. And that kind of happens.
Collectedness is collectedness of the mind.
Collectedness.
So tranquil mind also means a comfortable mind. And how is it different from an equanimous mind?
Equanimous as comfortableness is there, but there is no kind of, the description is that there is no pain and grief. And there is no joy and pain, and there is no happiness and grief is there. So that mind is very kind of balanced.
And still mind, which is the one step further.
No.
Equanimous mind.
Tranquility has an element of pleasure in it. You know it's a nice state. Equanimity doesn't have pleasure or
Equanimity doesn't
pain.
have joy or pain.
I
And
think,
there are no preferences in equanimity.
So there is no.
and no, and if something happens, it will continue to be in balance. I'm in tranquility. If something happens, I might go out
all your resources of the mind which is there is on a single object. So it's that is the samadhi which is there. That is the jhanic state which is there. So you can your attention is put on something and that stays on that.
But it's different to that one-pointed focus. Yeah. So you're kind of harnessing the resources for a single purpose. It's a direction of the mind, but it's not an absorption into something.
So the metaphor I like, the analogy I like, is when a cricket player, batsman, when they are at the crease, they're completely relaxed. They're aware of the field, they're also aware of the bowler, and sometimes they say that the ball was as big as the basketball. They're not having one, they cannot have one-pointed focus on the ball because I mean, it's moving first of all and bowling. So they will tell you that they could see the fingers on the seam of the ball. Right? They also know where the field is. They also know where their body state is.
But the question is more a little bit on, like, are there many minds? And essentially all of them collect. And which is
That's one view.
again then connecting forward, which is why you need to keep showing the insights again and again to each of these minds.
No.
Say eventually all get the same insight.
No. That is multi-universe theory of minds.
Seem to be stuck on inside.
In one way, the mental, if you remove, are there multiple minds? But if you ask the question, are there multiple mind objects? Then there are lots of mind objects.
Yes.
And all these
Different
mind
mind
objects
states
may
also.
be
Mind
forming in
states,
different
okay.
places. And so in one way, collectedness is also assembling the mind objects into one direction rather than
Mind
Mind
objects, the way
states
you
more
mentioned
than mind
here, are a
objects.
little bit more
Mind states.
like aversions, are not really like objects only. They are more like feeling.
But it's not that at one time you only have one feeling, right? You might have multiple feelings. Different parts of your body may be feeling differently. This knee may be comfortable. This knee is not.
And another translation of mind objects, because the word is dharma, but dharma with a small d, not a big. Is dharma not with a small d, not a dharma which is the teaching of the Buddha, which is a big D. So it's phenomena. So you think of mind objects as phenomena in the mind. Yes, yeah, but a small d is phenomena. Yeah, yeah. Dharma with a big D is the teaching of the Buddha.
Did you say smruti? S-M-R-U-T-I? Smruti?
Small,
Small d.
lowercase d. Lowercase d.
The dinner time is.
Okay. There being the equanimity enlightenment factor in him, a student understands there is an equanimity enlightenment factor in me, or there being no equanimity enlightenment factor in him, he understands there is no equanimity enlightenment factor in me. He also understands how there comes to be the arising of the unarisen equanimity enlightenment factor, and how the arisen equanimity enlightenment factor comes to the fulfillment by development. So as he kind of does this, he knows that how it comes to the fruition. In this way, he abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects, internally, externally, and both internally and externally. The Four Noble Truths. Again, students, a student abides contemplating the mind objects as mind objects in terms of the Four Noble Truths. And how does a student abide contemplating mind objects as mind objects in terms of the Four Noble Truths? Here a student understands as it actually is. This is suffering. He understands as it actually is. This is the origin of suffering. He understands as it actually is. This is a cessation of suffering. He understands as it actually is. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So he sees this also so everything which is there, you can contemplate in the four noble truths. There is pain. You can say there is origin of pain. There is a cessation of pain, and there is a way leading to the cessation of pain. So anything you want to say, this can be a problem solution statement. There is ignorance. There is a reason for the ignorance, and there is a cessation of the ignorance, and there is a way leading to the cessation of ignorance. So any kind of factors you can use with this problem solution thing.
Excuse me, there is the internal body and external body we understand. But how do we understand the mind of internal or external?
Mind object, whatever is a kind of, I think this is a standardization also. Certain times there is a standardization of kind of narration. So one other thing would be that whatever kind of affects the mind, which is there. So like whatever affects the mind as the thought comes. So external factors which kind of trigger the mind object which is there. The cold can trigger thoughts of it is so nice, or oh my god, it's so bad, it is cold. So it depends on this. So certain times one of the interesting factor is the hell for Tibetans is a cold place, and hell for normally the hot countries is a hot place. Because when being hot kind of triggers that fear of kind of maybe dying of dehydration, all these things. For them, the danger is of cold and this thing. So then the hells are cold for the Tibetans and the hill people, and so that is a kind of mind triggering the mind objects. No? In this way, he abides contemplating mind objects as mind object internally, or he abides contemplating mind objects as mind object externally. He abides contemplating mind objects as mind object both internally and externally, or else he abides contemplating in mind objects their nature of arising, or he abides contemplating in mind objects their nature of vanishing, or he abides contemplating in mind objects their nature of both arising and vanishing, or else mindfulness that there are mind objects is simply established in him to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and mindfulness. And he abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. So that is very important. He abides independent, not clinging to anything. So there is no kind of taking ownership of anything which happened. All the kind of the body, feeling, mind object, he is not taking anything as personally. That is how a student abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects in terms of the Four Noble Truths. Conclusion. Students, if anyone should develop these four foundations of mindfulness in such a way for 7 years, one of two fruits could be expected for him. Either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-return. So the Buddha is saying that if you do this for 7 years, this kind of practice, dedicatedly, then there are two fruits which are there which you can have. One is that you may have the final knowledge. If there is certain attachments left, then a non-return. So you are reborn in another Brahmaloka and continue the practice. So 7 years seems a long time. But if you consider that how long we were there in the samsara, just giving an example, the Buddha gives an example saying that, see, if there is 4 monks are there, he sits there and contemplates their past 100,000 Mahakapas. 100,000 Mahakapa is one Big Bang. So the expansion of the world, then the stillness of the world, then the contraction of the world, and the stillness. One is called Asankhya. And in this one Asankhya, we can be reborn about 1,000,000 times or more. In this one Asankhya, that we can be reborn for more than 1,000,000 times. Now, that 4 Asankhya makes a 1 Mahakapa. And they contemplate or see 100,000 Mahakapas. And they keep doing that day after day without fail, without kind of vacation or anything. And they do it for 100 years. Still, they have not completed their task. So that can be so many trillions of lifetimes we may have kind of, but if those can be kind of got over with just 7 years of practice, then that is also a very short amount of time. But Buddha says that not don't. Okay, I'll give you a discount and I'll say 6 years. If you do it for say maybe 5 years, maybe you will do it for 4 years, maybe you will do it for 3 years, maybe for 2 years, maybe 1 year, maybe half a year, maybe for 15 days. Then he last says, even if you do it for 7 days, still you will be able to get this benefits. So he says that as you kind of do diligently, it depends. As we kind of discussed in the last retreat, we saw a kind of a bicycle, which was a new kind of bicycle. I can show you that later on in the last day. So the father takes a long time to learn, but the son takes a lesser time. So there is a difference between our habitual tendencies. So then it can be different for different. So the Buddha says that even if you do it for 7 days, then there are two fruits which is possible, which is a non-returner or arahant. That is what he says. So it was with reference to this that it was said, student, this is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of nibbana, namely the four foundations of mindfulness. That is what the Blessed One said. The students were delighted and satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's word.
7 days of mindfulness or the four.
Yeah. We can start our.
We have 7 days more, right?
So at the end, I hope everybody is a arahant at least, or an anagami at least. Huh? So, but what we are there. Bhante used to say that what we can be is in the present. So that 1 6 hour, 1 6 hour, this one moment, that is what we can do. So just be with whatever is there. And one other thing the Buddha is giving an encouragement is that, see, whatever states you are there, if there is a pleasant state, then what you examine in this present state is this is impermanent. You see that there can be dukkha, which is the attachment to it. And you see the impersonality of this state. Because this has not been created by you. You are experiencing the state of pleasantness. You are not creator of this place of present. Now, if you are in a painful state, you can do the same thing. You can see this as impermanent.
But is the practice that we do these three things each time? We don't do it today.
It is a part of that, no? It is
do it directly, but that is difficult. But you are doing it.
You are doing it, no? You see them when you see your mind get distracted. You see that it has got distracted on its own. So you see the impersonal nature, and you see letting go.
But is the practice that you like tell each time that okay, now you are impermanent, you are
Then it becomes a mantra. Then it's not like
No, when you're seeing the impermanence, you're observing it as it is. You're not naming it. You're just seeing it as a reality. Yeah? So it's like if you try to describe someone the taste of milk who's never tasted milk. You can do that as much as you like, and they really won't get an idea. But as soon as they taste it, that they know. They know in a way which nothing could have described. Yeah? So we just know as things happen. And because we have the framework, that vision populates the framework. Yeah? So we reckon, that's impermanence. That's attachment. Yeah? That's equanimity. Something has occurred and I haven't reacted.
Like there is a pleasant feeling, it goes, and you immediately recognize the kind of the missing of it. Or when there is something which is painful, the aversion which comes up in the mind, then you see, okay, this aversion. then you know that painful feeling has also come up on its own. I did not ask it to come. Did I say that, okay, I have not had painful feeling, let it come? No, it came and I was aware of it. Then you see the impersonal nature. You need see the impersonal nature of your mind's movement. That's the reason we say, no, remembering to observe how your mind moves from one thing. And while doing that, you are learning all of this. All of it is incorporated. The 7 factors of awakening is also there because mindfulness is there. And then your investigation.
Yeah. So these are all expressions of reality, and we just happen to sample them in one or more of these expressions, but we're sampling the reality. So each time we sample it, we get a different take on what the reality is, and that's then begins to consolidate. It's the signal to noise that we were talking about the other day.
I think one of the things that you're saying, are they in the recognized step?
Yeah, that is all in the recognized. No? So when you are having mindfulness, then the recognize is happening automatically. That's the investigation of the phenomena factor. And then the energy is automatically, because you know, if you're restless, then what you do is you kind of relax more. If you're slotted up, and you put
In the recognize is the view of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. That be incorporated as part of the recognize.
no, if you do that, then what kind of Anis is saying that will happen? You say, oh, am I doing this or that? So, but when you do that, you automatically understand that the impermanence of that attention. You see the impersonality of that attention also, and you see this. I've missed it. My attention has this kind of the dissatisfaction which is there. That is the dukkha, which is the controlling factor.
It's also a matter of how one of your students said, right? Like he's read one physics 1,000 times. So the more you like look at it from different angles, it just becomes more and more nuanced.
Yeah, and the awareness is something that develops over time. This is the gradual progress. Okay, so the first time something happens, we kind of feel it's incidental. You know, the second time it happens, we kind of think, okay. The third time it happens, it seems to be a bit of a pattern here. You know, it's that process of understanding. But we need to understand it in all the facets of our life, and to recognize that this is universal in its nature. Yeah.
Okay. This has been long talk. So we can share merits and you can continue practicing.
May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fears strive fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, Devas and Nagas and mighty powers share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensations.
I have just kept this. Oh, yeah.